This is Zettelcast, brought to you by readers, writers, thinkers, and teachers from LiLLiPub, along with our partners in thought, our Zettelcastans. In this show, we share discoveries that our Zettelcastans have shown us.
There you go.
And compare notes on how we're using this marvelous invention in our creative work. Thank you for joining us.
All right, Book.
Let's do it again.
All right.
Episode 46, Discovering Time.
Welcome to the Zettelcast. This is episode 46, Discovering Time. Now, this is a topic that was introduced to us last week by Deb Hart. She threw up the question of what's the difference between Kairos, clock time, and what's the difference between Chronos, clock time, and Kairos, experiential time? Now, of course, we all know about the difference between waiting for something wonderful and it takes forever to get there, and then when it arrives, it's over in a flash. So we all know that there exists a difference between Chronos and Kairos, but boy, is it ever magnified on Lydia. And so we are taking the opportunity to write little short segments that demonstrate how our characters, each of us has a character that discovers the difference, and we're sharing how that discovery takes place. Deb can't stay with us for the whole show, so we're going to let her go first and share her story. Deb, start us off.
Not only can I not stay the whole session, but my instance of sharing is truncated. It doesn't have an end. It doesn't have an end. But I'll read you the beginning, and I hope you see what I'm seeing in it. Okay. Not just any old thing could spark Kelly Newberg into track magic mode. But this incredibly narrow door marked weird science had immediately set off a 4-alarm awakening. Given enough time, Central Henge has never been a disappointment. She knew that. It was the reason she practically haunted the place. But what could possibly be behind that door having anything to do with agenda, her term of current pursuit? Palms, armpits, and unmentionables itching. She reached for the door's very highly polished silver knob. What did Kelly find?
Woo!
I mean, I can, what is the word? Extemporalize on what she found. But actually, I won't do that. I'm sorry. I'm not going to do that.
The suspense is fun. The suspense is fun. It's actually, I think, totally in keeping with the subject.
Okay, good. All right, so that's my share for the day.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Deb. I'm glad you were able to take a little bit of opportunity this morning in your incredibly busy schedule to join us. Victoria has been able to be here and Mel's been able to be here also. So Julianne and I will take care of it from here.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. See you later. Bye.
Good. Have a good Monday.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, Julianne, you're up.
Okay. All right. So this little story, takes place between two stories that I have shared already. So just to set the scene, in episode 22, called In, Out, and Through the Zettelkasten, I read a story called Lydia is Having Fun. And in that story, we met a guy named Sonny, who is Jenna's trainee. And he was starting his first shift doing something. He's watching, he's there to monitor some information and analyze it. And we got introduced to the vein. And in that episode, I explained that it's the fun vein. And it exists as a way to answer the question, how much fun are we having on Lydia? So that was the first story. And then in episode 39, called Herd in the Henge, there was a conversation. We have character Chris and Sunny, and they've met in this place called the Epiphany Taffy, which is like a big lobby. And they're just having this little conversation about what has happened since they last saw each other. And Sunny shares that what he said was, like every rookie ever, I got caught up watching The Vein. Dear Lydia, that thing. I can't even call it a thing. I don't know. He started to babble, and he hears himself babbling. All right, so now what we're going to hear, or read, I'm going to read to you, is how his first shift, where he got exposed to the vein, actually ended up. And it's called Sunny Clocks Out. Swirls, eddies, rivulets, currents, tugging, dragging, screams, locomotive, avalanche, paralyzed, no, trapped, crushed, no, expanding. There space is still, breathing, laughing, hooligan hyenas mocking monkeys, dissolution, dissipation, undertow, next wave forming at that hello there, can't take it, must take it in, ride it out, high, even higher, dark, thin, brace for impact. No, don't brace. What then? How to survive this? Sunny. Years of equations. Curves plot themselves. Is this how things are? More or less? Less is more advises you to pipe down. Will you get a load of this sling? Sling, slang, slung. Sunny. Sunny B. What? A name? Who is Sunny? Who calls for Sunny? Ack, ninny. Keep that voice on the lifeline. Who's there? Who is looking for Sunny? It's me, Sunny. Millicent. Millie. I'm on next shift. Shift. I'll say. Sunny remembered being on a shift. In so doing, he remembered who Sunny was, or had been, before. How are the dynamics, Sunny? Millie's face came closer over the vein. The vein, Millie. Dear God. I know. I can see it's been a lot. Category 3, if that makes you feel some way or other about it. Jagged pieces falling back, making their distinctive jingle jangle. How about you start your exit protocol? I'm checked in. Sunny studied Millie's inscrutable face in the yi. Did I make it through a full shift? Not by the clock, if that's what you mean. Boom. Shame. Uninvited guest. Are you sure? The interview began. What a curious way to begin, Sunny thought, idly. He felt convexity and saw it reflected on the HUD. The moves are known at this stage. Do your best to say true words. As the protocol carried him back to his seat at home, shreds of perceived sanity settled in. Millie's message had been titled, Your boy's been on a ride. Closing it, Jenna felt some shame herself. She detected very little in the way of thought for Sunny rattling around her recent memory. You could say she had forgotten all about him. Not good.
Wow. Thank you. You did a fabulous job of conveying Sunny's experience. That, that's really something. I love that one about, did I finish my shift? Oh, that's cute.
You're finished in a manner of speaking.
Mine is far, far more prosaic, very down to earth, which my tales tend to be, and very simple, kind of to give a little bit of relief from the complexity. So you can have time to let Julianne's piece settle in and make its way through all of the filters and channels that it bubbles through and reaches. Here's one that you can just relax in. No words that are hard to understand or concepts that are hard to grasp. Because this one is titled Helen and the Henge. Helen did not love Lydia. For one thing, she wasn't particularly curious. Responsibility was high on her list. Duty and doing the right thing came first, and supporting Freddie's fondest desire seemed like, well, some mixture of the two, though she couldn't say how much was down to either. She remembered well the evening he persuaded her to side with his wishes. She had been gently discouraging him from signing up for the game, the journey. Freddie finally asked her to state what she had against going on this adventure. It caught her off guard, and she found it hard to name a concrete objection. Finally, she blamed her reluctance on her job and how much they depended on her. Does this mean we can never have children? He asked her. Well, of course not. We've always said I would stay home with the children once they came. So they'd have to get along without you at work? He had me. There was nothing more I could say against going, unless playing this game doesn't rule out children, does it? No, 1,000 times no, he had assured her. From that moment, she swallowed her misgivings and joined him in preparations. A home on Lydia and 3 grown children later, she had never revealed her discomfort living in a place that was so ready to mold itself to one's imagination. So now, confronting a soon-to-be empty nest and way too much free time, she was relieved to be offered a job in the henge. Freedom from the link on a daily basis seemed like the best compromise she could achieve. Too bad, or perhaps thankfully, no one warned her that freedom from the link did not mean freedom from that specialness about Lydia that continued to delight Freddie and now the children too. At first, Helen didn't notice that the hinge was affecting her. Helen prided herself on her time management skills. She was a very good judge of how long any given job would take. When she cooked a meal, everything came to the table at the same time. When she decided to clean out a closet, she finished on schedule. This continued with her work in the henge, but it was about to get very strange. She had been assigned to a huge project. Off in some deep basement, someone had stumbled on a vast collection of handwritten notes on individual file cards. They were piling drawer after drawer on a work table near her desk, and it was to be her job to scan each one of them into the computer. The drawers varied in how densely packed they were, yet once she formed the intention of scanning a particular drawer, she found she had sufficient time to do so. No, this was an understatement. She had exactly the amount of time needed. She always finished precisely at the end of her shift. This began to be a bit unnerving, and Helen experimented with changing the scope of her intention. On the upside, there seemed to be no limit to the number of cards she could intend to scan. No matter how large she made the batch, she finished exactly at the end of her shift. Unfortunately, her back and shoulders very much felt the increased load. Enough of that. Curious, she thought to herself. She began playing with intending to scan fewer and fewer cards in a batch. But when she got down to intending only half a drawer, she looked up when she was done, and the clock had only advanced 15 minutes. Why, the Henge is playing games with me. She was very disconcerted, but something felt like a tease. I am going to be disconcerted, she said to herself firmly. She was crying, but somewhere she felt she ought to be laughing, and at this moment she wasn't sure which would win. You mean all those dinners that I timed so perfectly? As instance after instance came to her memory, she finally succumbed to the laughter.
I love that. I love that. I mean, that is very much in keeping with your prompt of somebody discovers this and it's smacking her in the face. I love it. Um, what I did was a little more matter of fact. Um, the circumstances are perhaps more uh, shiny, but um, the what I loved about this challenge and the fact that Deb had really just named it, it's Kairos versus Chronos. That is such a wonderful lens that I certainly want to know how you did this, but I just took a glance over all my story cards and I just felt like there's something that could be done in every one of them.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's everywhere. It's everywhere in this world. And so you just pick our spots and they can be smacking you in the face, or it can be just, oh, yep, there it is again.
Well, I didn't choose that for my main character, who is Teresita, because she doesn't really have much of a conception of time at all.
Yeah.
If anything, she kind of lives in Kairos and doesn't really understand Chronos. So she wasn't a good example for me. So I had to pick a different character. And I wanted to pick a character that was totally out of keeping with all the founders, all of the people who got on the rocket ship from Earth and came to Lydia for this wonderful adventure. And the interesting theme that play that I wanted to make on it is that she was so certain that she had concealed from everyone the fact that she was not going to be playing any games. And, Lydia did not bust her, did not reveal to anyone that she was onto it. Lydia played along and let her play the role of being dependable and responsible for as long as she wanted or needed to be that, which was long enough to raise three kids. And fortunately, she had not warped them in any way because she was so careful not to pass on to them her kind of discomfort living in Lydia. And so they got to enjoy all of the stuff of Lydia like normal children growing up on Lydia. And she was finally going to get away from that infernal link for a comfortable job, being hired to do this ridiculously boring assignment of scanning cards, which was just down to earth for her because that's how she felt that she was. She was Madam, she was Miss Boring. She was duty. She was doing the right thing. But she didn't realize, of course, that all this while that she was taking so much pride in her ability to time things so well that he had been playing with her.
It was an invisible hand.
I'm glad she was able to laugh when it finally came through. But of course, it was because Lydia had already teased her into playing a game. She played along with Lydia. Let me try this. Let me try this. She was playing a game and didn't know it.
Yep. She used the word curious for the first time as a maybe I'll and it sounded to me like she hadn't even cottoned to that. She didn't know I'm not curious. She didn't know that she's not curious and she didn't know that she was being curious.
Right.
Sounds kind of like pinnacle to wing, perhaps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But she's going to have a discovery. You know, she's going to discover that, wow, of course, life on Lydia is going to turn out to be a kind of almost a scary adventure for her because when she's ready to really play, she's going to have to find out where her limits are, where Lydia's limits are, you know, and we'll have to see how Freddie reacts because on some level he must have known that she was never that,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. Hopefully,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. So I think they're gonna, I mean, it just gives another character to have fun with.
and three juicy children.
Yeah. Yeah.
In our chat, as we were over the weekend when we were debating, this whole question, which was just delightful for me. For me, this whole thing is collaboration. It is what makes collaboration so gorgeous. You know, throw something out, somebody says, I don't get it. They go figure out something that opens it up for them. They share it back, and you say, all right, write something. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. And um, so as we were going back and forth over the weekend, um, this situation with children and the adults reminded me a lot of kids that I knew when I went to University of Miami,
Oh,
who had come to Miami from Cuba as small children,
yeah.
and they laughingly spoke Spanglish
Uh-huh.
and were very, loved their parents, were, very happy to participate in the culture of Cuba that their parents tried to preserve in Miami, which they really tried a lot to do that. But the kids are racing off and being Americans.
Yeah.
And that dynamic it was really fascinating. And that was my, having come from a small town with nothing like that. That was great cultural
Uh-huh.
exposure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just the notion of being first generation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, fantastic. Yep. And so now these two are, I have to still learn where this fits in because this means that Helen and Freddie, therefore, are ancestors.
Yeah.
And so I need to find out what that implies. Freddie is obviously well aware of his role as an ancestor. Helen is going to have to discover that she is one
Yeah.
too.
Yes. Yeah.
But
Uh,
we can discover what the ancestors are along with her.
right. Right. And I a couple of things about Helen. So one thing is, as I started to read your story, um, it was about Helen, and then I thought, oh darn, I guess I never told anybody that I had Helen as the name of Chris's mom.
Oh.
But and in a sweeping story, you very conveniently don't have any name collisions.
Uh-huh.
But I think this is actually a fortuitous name collision
Ah.
because um, are you talking about this Helen or that Helen?
Uh-huh.
And how
Yeah.
they refer to each other and see each other. And they might not even know each other, but people who know them both,
Yeah.
how they don't get confused.
Because I'm sure they're very, very different people.
Very different people. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, I mean, I'm seeing Chris's mom as being, very um, earthy.
Uh-huh.
And also she isn't an ancestor.
Oh, okay.
She's
Yeah,
part of
Chris.
she's part of that Sentry group.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the grown children might be a little more grown. Might their grown children might also be may actually be of the same generation as Helen and Jenna's parents.
Mm.
They might turn out to be very grown.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. She might, yeah, maybe we'll have to, in a future revision, she may find that she has grandchildren or something. We might change the story. And now three
Sure.
grandchildren and two grandchildren later, just to set the age more specifically.
Yeah. Yeah. But I think these happy accidents are fun. Just say, well, let's not fix that. Let's feature it.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, again, how far does the limits of Chronos and Kairos go? I don't really know.
Right. Julianne is stubbornly not telling.
Yeah.
I don't know either. That's really the truth.
So I had to steal an event from Mel, you
Love
know,
it.
because Mel's character discovers that his the Zettelcast and that he found in that deep basement has disappeared, and they've taken it away from him. Now we know where it is.
Got some bureaucrat hiding from the world.
Yeah, somebody flip. Scan.
Did you write a story card before you wrote the story, or did you write the story card after having written the story? How did you go about, what was the process?
I shall have written the story card after. Story card. Oh, yes, I can do
For our subscribers, you and I have both posted these stories up into the folder where our subscribers can read them. And I also posted my card. My card I wrote after the story as well, but I did write it.
that.
So it's essentially a synopsis.
Yeah, my card shall have been written, and you will find it there when I've completed my task. Of course, if you want to find out how to get to that folder, you can do so with no cost and no obligation by visiting our website, lillipub.org, where you can sign up just for notifications. And you will get a link to that shared folder where you can pop in anytime you want and see what we've shared with you. Or you can get involved a little more closely. You can join us at lillipub.org, where you can join the Roanoke community and participate in the discussion with us, the creators, and so many other things in lillipub.org, like Fusion Writing, the group that Victoria Crowder leads, that helps fledgling writers find their voice. That's a terrific group. You wouldn't want to miss Fusion Writing. And Mel has a marvelous group for his newsletter subscribers. And I have a group on the character traits if you want to explore more about those. So lillipub.org sure gives you a huge amount to go on for your very, very small investment of only $8 a month, right now anyway. And what's more, if you lock in at $8 a month, even if we're forced to raise our rates, that's your price for life. End of pitch.
Yes. If just come in, and if you enjoy hanging out with us, it's like that, only more so. It's a very, very warm and human place to be. There are many more people than ourselves, and every person who joins really adds something unique and distinctive to the whole feeling of the place.
Yep. Thank you. So thank you for joining us, and be sure to come back next week for our next episode. See you then.